What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. We are not going to be on MX bikes for a change today. We are on Monster Energy, the official motocross game, Supercross, all that good stuff, number 3, which apparently is most people's favourite one out of the 6 that have been released so far. It's the highest rated on Steam, and it's one that I have never ever played before, so we're going to give it our first playthrough today. I'm quite interested just to see how it stacks up against the other ones, see what's what, you know, and I have no idea what to expect really. It's not something that I've got too involved in before. Oh my Christ,
yeah.
That genuine jump scare. It's so
Hope
loud!
you brought your game face, cause if not, it's game over.
I was just going to skip over this whole character creation process because, you know, it's usually pretty samey, but was this a thing in the other games? Could you go through and change your height however you wish? Like, 6'4" is massive and you go all the way down to 5'3". That's actually a really cool feature. I don't know if that's in 6, but I definitely don't remember it in 5 at all, so yeah, milestone, please bring back. If you've been putting off buying that new MX gear, or you're just looking for some new daily MX related clothing, then head on over to fxrracing.com. Code MXPR_Lins15 at checkout will give you 15% off all motocross and lifestyle products. This code is applicable to the European, Swedish and Norwegian websites, and not Canada or the USA. And whilst I've got your attention, you may as well subscribe to the channel. It's just one click of a button and it puts a big old smile on my face. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I also have to keep cutting because the music can get you like copyrighted after a while, but this music, the whole playlist on this game actually slaps. Oh my god. I'm going to have to look this up on Spotify afterwards. I'd say as far as character customizations go, I don't think you could get any closer to replicating me. Like if I was to look in a mirror, that is just spitting image. It's so close. Also, massive fan that you can your controllers be whatever you want them to be. You're not restricted to certain like presets or controller mapping. You can literally press any button that you want to do whatever you want as well. I can't lie, boys. I'm actually like really pleasantly surprised about the amount of content I can see already straight off the bat. I haven't touched career mode at all. Like you guys know me, I'm not a big lover of career mode in these games, but the option is there. Single events, Monster Energy Cup, normal time attack, big old compound that we're probably going to do first, various championships like says 450 and then the 250 coasts, a whole different bunch of challenges as well, like whole shot hunt. What's this? Time, speed, everything when the gates are so yeah, just practice your whole shots, I guess. Really cool 1v1 stuff, which is quite nice as well. I'm not surprised that this has got the best ratings out of all of them. Honestly, you've got the track editor, which I think is a must in these games. All of the DLC credits, a bunch of different tutorials, and yeah, I think let's just stop dilly-dallying about and let's actually play the game. Now, I haven't bought any DLC for this yet. I know that the Legends pack came at a later date. But can we agree that this doesn't look like James Stewart at all? Oh, they've done him so dirty, that's outrageous. What on earth is Blake Baggett? He looks like he's come from another planet. What on... That's unreal. That's the quality in these different faces is actually so funny, but I like how they're tall. Like Benny's basically coming off the screen. They got that realistic. And Malcolm genuinely looks better than James does, which I find very odd. Eli Tomac looks the best out of everyone. You can tell they got his face scan right. But how can we go from Tomac looking like this? Who's this? This is not Cooper Webb. This is Paul Webb. This is... oh my god, this is actually really funny to scroll through. Marvin doesn't look too terrible. Joey's just jumped straight out of The Sims, but yeah, this is actually quite funny scrolling through and looking at everybody. So it's not too mind-blowing in terms of the visuals before even loading in, but I have to remember this game is a few years old at this point. I expect we'll be getting a Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 7, at some point in the near future, although I have not had an email yet about early access. I guess I might not have done a good job of presenting number 6 to everybody. So we've got to go to the compound. I'm not going to bother with bike setup at all, you know. It's not that deep. We've got Linda on the back. We've got the old number 69 as well. Now, I do have it on all like manual gearing. I've got the physics on like standard rather than pro, but oh my god, this is really framey. Why is it so frame ratey? I promise I've got a good PC. Okay, first person camera's a little bit too zoomed in for my liking, so I don't think we're really going to mess with that. I actually prefer the slightly zoomed out camera, in honest opinion. What's all my buttons? So I've got my clutch is my usual circle, I've got front brake, I've got rear brake. Right bumper is my rewind. I was curious about that. Then look behind is left bumper. And I guess we just have a little bit of a a ride around, a little bit of an explore, bit of a discover, see what's what. Is there a map at all? That's the important question. We got options, customize camera, bike setup, any sort of map option whatsoever. And the answer to that is no. Well, I don't think there is. I've pressed every button on my controller. Whether there is a different one on keyboard that I should have been pressing, I have absolutely no idea. So we're kind of winging this, to be honest. There's more than likely going to be areas that I miss out through no real fault of my own if I have no idea where I'm going. So I guess this is the first Supercross track that I found. I do apologise that it's raining in-game. I imagine that it's probably going to look like hella frame ratey, or bit ratey I should say, because of it. I probably could have set it to be sunny all the time, but you know, it's part of the experience. You know, it's no idea where this compound is located, somewhere in the great US of A. But we're just going to ride and see how it is. So, I don't know how much I've done in the intro to this, because I just kind of recorded the game loading up. I don't know how much time I would have had to speak. The whole premise of this is kind of over the last 2-3 years or so, I've slowly been playing the Monster Energy Supercross games one by one and just seeing how they feel, etc. And on each of the ones that I've done, so I've covered 1, 2, 4, 5 and 6. I covered everything except for this one. This is the, I guess, 6th and final one that I haven't done yet. However, I always got told that this is like everyone's favourite. Like, this is the best one out of the bunch. Apparently, number 3, like number 1's really good, number 3 is the best, and then it kind of started going downhill from there. So we're going to be the judge of that today. We're going to see how it feels, how the bikes kind of ride overall, what the momentum's like, does it kind of replicate Supercross in any sort of aspect, with a pinch of salt, because you have to remember as well that these are arcade games. They're not meant to be full-on simulators like us bikes and MX Simulator players have come to enjoy. So I'm not going to hold it to too high standards. I'm more looking from like a graphic side of things. So the graphics hold up well. From an arcade perspective, is it nice and enjoyable and fun? Is it intuitive? Like, is it easy to pick up and go at semi decent speed on, or have I got to spend hours and hours grinding away? And time will tell. So I've got manual gearing on, I've got manual ride away on, I do not have combined brakes, I do not have the flow aid, but I have got, I think it says standard or easy physics 1 or 2. I've not bothered setting that to pro just yet. We will kind of we'll progress on that as we go, because these are my first laps on the game in general. I have not played a Monster Energy Supercross game since the last MESX 6 video that I'd done, and I think that was kind of like the pre-release where I got early access to it to kind of showcase it off to you guys. So yeah, I didn't even end up buying the full game. So, you know, it is what it is. We'll get into it now, and I mean, this one seems actually really straightforward, and one issue that I tend to have with the Supercross games is it never usually feels like your wheels are attached to the ground. I'm so sorry about it. I'm going to change this to sunny. This weather is actually awful. So it turns out it spawns you in different places in the compound all the time. Either that, or I'm a massive old gamer and got completely lost straight away. So we're on a different track now, but I can agree that the lighting and the weather is much nicer this time around. And I also want to say that the actual, like, I don't know what I was expecting. I tried waiting the outside peg as if this was bikes. It's never going to work. The actual lighting and things like that looks really, really nice. I'm not sure why it's spawning me on the wrong side here. Let's go the correct way, which I believe is this way. Lovely stuff. And what I was discussing, sorry, before I changed over, about the wheels feeling like they're not attached to the ground. This one actually does. And this is on a stock Yami 450. You know, this is the one that I just selected when it makes you pick your manufacturer at the start. And it feels actually really nice and planted. Obviously a little bit on the slow side, where it's like the original, no upgrades done to it at all. I didn't want to bother picking any of the... Oh, God. Obviously, I've not unlocked any of the team presets yet, but I didn't bother picking one of the actual pro riders, because, you know, big old Linda number 69, he's here to play. I didn't spend a whole 2 minutes making him just for him to not get used. He's coming out. He's coming out. He's coming out of retirement. He's off to bark some Supercross and see how it goes. So having a scroll through the list of all the different Monster Energy Supercross games on Steam at least, this game, out of, I think it's got like 800 Steam reviews, and 88% of those were positive. The next highest one, I believe, was 84%, which was Monster Energy Supercross 2. And then I can't remember the other numbers off the top of my head, however, they are all lower. They're all lower than that. So it isn't just like by word of mouth that people say that this game is the best one, it is also backed up by the numbers and the reviews. And I mean, so far, I'm actually pleasantly enjoying myself. I think this is actually a lot better than other ones that I've played in the past. I do see some more. There's so many tracks. I'm actually annoyed that there's no massive map. I mean, there probably is. I hope there is. Otherwise, that is a bit of an L design that there'd be no map on a massive thing like this. But oh yeah, I'm annoyed because now I don't really know where I'm going at all. I'm kind of just meandering my way around, getting lost a little bit. The whips are still Supercross whips. They leave a little bit to be desired. You know, I'm not going to big up the whip physics on these games at all. Both whipping and scrubbing, I think, is an area where the games could be massively improved upon. Because in my mind, when I think of Supercross, it's all about like corner speed, like carrying your momentum around corners, as well as like scrubbing and soaking up rhythms to try and go as fast as possible. Now there's methods to do that in these games. I'm not a fast Supercross player by any means, but I watch the occasional hot lap video that finds its way into my recommended on YouTube, and I see people like quickly tap in to weight the outside peg in corners to get their bike to essentially flatten out and spin them around and go again, which I did by mistake earlier, but to a very noobish degree, which is why I crashed straight away. But yeah, when it comes to scrubs and stuff, I'm kind of lacking a bit. You know, there's no proper gyroscopic effect in this game in regards to lifting the front wheel up from accelerating, dropping the front wheel from braking, pretty much. Although, actually, let me try a little bit of back brake in the air. Back brake drops the front end a bit, but accelerating does nothing. You know, unless you lean back at the same time, which obviously we know doing that way doesn't do a whole lot. But nonetheless, it seems very straightforward for me to pick up so far and just play, which is a good thing. I'm very, very happy about that. I don't want to be sitting here grinding for hours and hours on a quote-unquote casual game. Now, one thing that I always found odd about the Supercross games, especially number 5, which is the one that I probably put the most time into, is the fact that the Nationals track on the compounds often felt better to ride with the game's physics than the Supercross tracks did. So I think this is the Nationals track that I've just hopped on here, so I'm going to see if that is the case. Now, I just noticed going into turn 1 there, what I was referring to about... Oh, we're getting up over that, lovely. What I was referring to about the front, the wheels not being attached to the ground, that does seem to be the case at quite high speeds. Doesn't seem to happen on the Supercross tracks, although we've not done any like massive flat first corners, so could be the case in there. But yeah, in the bowl turns, the bike feels pretty damn planted. However, on this national track so far, it does feel a little bit more on the slidey side. And just to talk about these games in general, you know, I imagine if you are... Well, actually, there's two ways of looking at this. I was going to say, if you're a console player, it's probably really annoying that you are limited to games like the Supercross games, or... Wait, am I going... Oh, I've missed the track. Please don't have collisions. Ah, thank God. Games like these Supercross games, or the MXS ATV games, for example, it must be like annoying knowing that you're limited to those and those only. They essentially have like a stranglehold on like, the motocross video game genre. I am very, very grateful that I have a PC. I can try all these different games, whether it's MX Bikes, MX Simulator, Track Day R, Motocross Chasing the Dream, and then I can also come and play these tracks as well if I'd like to. Not to mention the older MX vs ATV games such as Reflex, still having a very prevalent modding community, is a massive W. You know, I'm very, very grateful to have that. So for you console guys, I was going to say it must suck, but then at the same time, if you don't know any different because you've never like been able to play those, do you really miss it that much anyway? Definitely hit that in the wrong direction. Wasn't meant to go that way at all. So exploring a little bit. I would like to say as well, massive shout out to G2A because when I went to buy this, I saw that it's still being charged at $25 on Steam, which I thought, you know, that's a little bit much for a game that has another 3 games come after it in the series. However, I then looked on G2A and instead of being $25, it was $4. So yeah, massive W to G2A. Definitely, if you're on the PC side of things. It's not sponsored at all. I'm just saying I use it fairly often. Before you press the buy button on Steam, just have a quick look at G2A or CD keys. Either of those two, they're pretty good, very reliable. Literally just buy it and they send you a code to your email address. You plop it into Steam and boom, it's done. Never had any issues there at all. Yeah, saved myself a good amount of money to the point where I've had videos on these games in the past where I've done a video on it. It's been within like 2 hours and I've just refunded it because I'm never going to play the game again. And for the sake of like a $50 or so game when they originally come out, I think it's even more expensive than that. I think on Steam the newish one is like $70 or $80, something crazy like that. Yeah, for the sake of, what was it, like $4 on this, that I'm not bothered about. If I play it once and never again, I'll just sit there chilling in my library until maybe the day comes where I want to. I doubt there's any server activity. I don't know how many years Milestone keep servers active for. One thing I will say that's very, very nice is I am a PlayStation controller user, and a lot of the older MXGP games, which are also created by Milestone, they tend to not work on controller unless you have like the DS4 program set up on your PC, which can be a bit of a pain in the bum all the time. You know, I just plug my controller in and play 99% of the time. And I'm very happy that this game actually has that, I guess, functionality, that I've not got to load any external programs. I can just load up the game and play it, no problem at all. So, again, another W in that regards. So there is a way of technically seeing all the tracks, just not exactly where they're laid out on the maps. If we go through here, we've got 8 different Supercross tracks, which is actually pretty good, pretty impressive for one compound, and then one twisty, windy motocross track. I mean, these are weird shapes for tracks. I'd expect more like 180s and 90s, but if you look here at the bottom left at this one, that it doesn't follow straight lines, unless that's just how they've drawn them. I'm not too sure, but can we teleport to this? Is this one that I've done yet? A nice little fast travel feature, I guess, if I click on the old time trial mode. Oh, lovely stuff. We've still got the old autopilot in the game that kind of gets you to where you want to be. That is a very weird shaped finish landing. What is that? It's like a suggestion of a landing. Now, question is, when I finish a lap, is it going to compare me to me, or is it going to give me someone else's time from around the world to compete with? Again, kind of goes back to the whole, are the servers still alive question? Are lap times still available to compete against other people? Can I view other people's ghosts? I mean, are the leaderboards like glitched and boofed? Is there ways to cheat lap times? There's a million different questions. Questions that I'm probably not going to find the answer out to in this video, because it's not something that I want to spend hours and hours on. The whole point of this is just to hop on, see if it's a fun game, see how it holds up. I mean, graphically, now that it's not absolutely raining the entire time, it all looks nice and bright. You know, my gear and my bike look to be of a good quality as well. I like the amount of customization I had within like rider height. I mean, I am 5'7.5". The half does count, I promise. At least that's what I tell the ladies. In IRL, in terms of height, not the tallest guy by any means. So it's quite nice being able to set that as like my rider height. Although now using him in game, he actually still looks quite big on the bike, which I can promise you is not the case in real life. So I'd love to see what he looks like if I was to crank him up to 6'4". Again, you can be a man or a woman in this game, so getting all nice and inclusive for everybody as well. If there are any lady viewers in the audience, please let yourself be known. Or not. Actually, no, don't do that, because then you'll get all of the random internet creeps try and slide in your DMs, so feel free to remain anonymous. The track, the jump I don't even know if they use templates or if every single jump is sculpted by hand. It looks like it's all handmade, where they've got high spots and low spots everywhere. They seem like super peaky, which doesn't always fit the flow of these games too well. I am a fan of peaky Supercross jumps. I like it when they boot you high up in the air. I think it makes sense. But on these games where I feel like a lot of time forwards momentum isn't the greatest, it leaves a little bit to be desired. But I generally think the gameplay that I've experienced by far, so far, not by far, is by far, to be fair, some of the smoothest and most intuitive and the most flowing. Now, I've only been on this for 15 minutes. I could be completely wrong, and I'm just a noob that needs to get better at the games, and blah blah blah, skill issue, etc. But as a noob, this is really nice, and I feel like that's what these games are usually made for, is the very casual Supercross fans that maybe they see on the TV for the first time. They're like, oh, that looks really cool. I want to give that a go myself. They realise how expensive the sport is, IRL, and they go, oh, I'll just settle to the video game instead and see how that goes. The seat bouncing mechanics, you know, it's just lean back and then lean forwards, same as it is in every other game. Whoops, just lean back onto the back wheel, same as in every other game. Nothing groundbreaking or too special there. But I want to kind of back out into the menu and see if there's anything else that tickles my fancy at all. See if there's anything else that piques my interest. I mean, to be expected. I can very rarely find an online lobby on the most recent game, never mind 3 iterations ago. But I was just trying to see if I could find any sort of like leaderboard system for lap times. If I go time attack 450, is there any way? Select track, race options, leaderboards. I'm actually blind. Welcome to Time Attack Mode. Oh, look at the boy. Level 520? Jesus Christ, Troy. Okay, so I know what Troy used to do before he came over to the MX bike side of things. Very interesting. Selected Ghost, 103.8. Should we... Yeah, go on then. Let's try and see if we'll get absolutely destroyed by Troy. Actually, I probably shouldn't have done this on a stock bike, should I? I feel like I'm going to get absolutely destroyed doing this. Oh, no, please case the finish line jump. Not a good start from... Oh! Right, let's go for attempt number 2 here. Is it, the third time's a charm is the same, isn't it? I believe that's how it's meant to go. Right, let's try and go a little bit slower this time. I'm being a bit of an L gamer here. I think I'm just oversteering too much. I need to try and not cut down in the corners as much as I am. Case the life out of that. Oh my god. Turn, please. Up and over the bridge. I've noticed in all of these Supercross games how small the bridge jumps are. I thought they'd be a little bit on the bigger side. Not sure the best way of actually scrubbing jumps yet. I'm just kind of getting up in the air and flailing my sticks about. Oh god, this is not going well. This is not going well. Skirt! Oh, I think I'm going to get absolutely destroyed by this man. Level 520, by the way, just throwing that out there, compared to a level probably 2 at this point. I don't know how quickly you get XP in this game, but, you know, nice to kind of go back in time. I think it's purely for the fact of Troy's the only person on my friends list that has done a lap on this track in time attack mode. I should probably have a look to see what like the best lap times are to see just how poorly I stack up. Well, he's even going far inside, trying to minimise the ground time as much as possible. That'll do me. I'm 2 seconds off. I don't think I'm going to gain another 2 seconds on him. And to be fair, he did even case a finish line jump, so he caught up a hell of a long way. Although, hang on. Oh, never mind. Never mind. So that does unfortunately put me in 1,694th place out of I don't know how many people, because I don't think it tells you overall. Although there's a lot of people here who are much higher levels than me that should definitely be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely disgusting behaviour from them. I don't know if there's any quick way of getting to the top, honestly. I'll have a look at the bottom here. I can switch between friends or not. I don't want to press the wrong buttons at all to try and get to the top. But yeah, either way, I think I'm a long way off in terms of lap times. But what's nice to see is just how many people have put laps in. Because current day, Monster Energy Supercross 6, there's like 30 people online at any point. It's not a busy game by any means. So to have a couple of thousand people setting lap times on a specific bike and a specific track in this game kind of shows that maybe it was at its peak and then it went downhill. And look at Kellen getting all these highly downloaded tracks. 5k, 10k, 10k. Absolutely barking on it. Like, actually, really cool stuff. I'm going to download this one because this one looks absolutely huge. Going to be my boy Faulkner here. I can't hear my bike. Oh, there's some weird music. Oh, got the Inception bong going off. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't think we're getting the whole shot here. But, to be fair, we've made it further than Faulkner has made it on most of his Supercross races these days. So, big W there. I'm just going to have a little ride around, see what the old factory bikes feel like compared to my stock machine. Just to be fair, I will say the bike sounds quite nice. Like, audio's actually pretty good on this game. The mixing is a bit strange. Like, sometimes the bike is way quieter than it needs to be. I've turned my headset down loads. I did turn the music off fully because I don't want to be hit with them copyright strikes, so I apologise. But from the little bit that I heard, and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get away with showing off in the video, but yeah, from the little bit I heard, oh my Christ, that's a big old jump. Jesus Christ, Kenny, you're trying to kill me. You have killed me. Right, okay, you should, like, average Austin Faulkner race. Yeah, I'm not sure how much of the music I'll be showing off in the edit for this, but it sounded really good. And I know like a lot of motocross games have a tendency to think everyone that rides motorbikes just like the heavy metal and that's it, or have some sort of cheesy music in there, but I was pleasantly surprised. Other than blowing my ears off at the very beginning, it was really, really cool. As you can see, my momentum doesn't exist, which is something that would probably come with a lot of practice, of course, but it is what it is. And for the sake of hopping on and playing a game for half an hour if I'm bored, this might scratch that itch, especially as a game that I might want to try and get a little bit better at. I would definitely say that the gameplay of this game feels nicer than 6. I don't know what it is, I can't put my hand on it. Even down to track design, I think the tracks are built a bit better than 6's tracks were, with their weird, inside ruts everywhere. Is there like some way of abusing clutch in this game that I don't know about? Because I feel like there's no way I'm having enough momentum to get over some of these jumps. I don't know, there's probably all sorts of tips and tricks that everyone is probably already left in the comments, because we're quite a long ways deep into this video at this point. I apologise for being mid, but you guys can take joy in the fact knowing that you are probably better than me at this, and I'll stick to my MX bikes. But I can see why this game is the highest rated out of all the Supercross games. It's actually enjoyable. I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't get to enjoy this when it was actually popular in its heyday. But I guess fingers crossed for number 7, if there's going to be a 7. I did Google before I started recording if there was any mention of like release dates or even any rumours that there was going to be a number 7 game. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if anyone that works within the industry that watches these has any idea. If so, let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts, and I'd like to know your thoughts on these games as a whole, actually. I say, I didn't buy 6. I was a little bit fed up of kind of getting the same product year in and year out, and that's from someone that hasn't bought every single one of these. Well, I guess I have now, except for 6, but still got 6 in my library because I got the preview version, although it doesn't have all of the features that the game comes with. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Pleasantly surprised, really good stuff, and didn't expect to be riding against Troy on this old of a game. So I'm going to love you and leave you. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.